We got Bruce Feldman here. I mean, been around covering the game a long time, man. I mean, you spoke highly about Deion Sanders in the past. It's a bit of a transition year. What do you expect out of the Colorado Buffaloes for this season?
Well, I think they'll be better on the lines than they probably have been, because I think some of the stuff that they built over his first 2 years, obviously I was in the Alamo Bowl. It was a rough last game. You lose so much star power, so much of the identity and the leadership, I think. Not just like the guys who went on the NFL who are like the headline guys, but you have a safety who is like the leader of the defense. He's gone. Most people outside of you probably don't know him, and then if he can get them to a bowl this year, I think that's a big win. I think realistically, it's not can you stay in the top 25. It's just like, can you stay as a winning program this year after losing all they lost?
I feel like on the national scale, you've been on the high side in terms of believers in what Deion Sanders is doing. What is it about him that you believe in so much?
I think it's, first of all, you have like the most charismatic leader we probably see in college football. I think you have a lot of buy-in with the people around. I think some of the guys I know who are on that coaching staff who have been around, like I trust what they've told me. And also we've seen it. I work at Fox. We were there at TCU. Saw. I think some of it was I went to the conference meetings before his first season, and some of my colleagues who used to work with him at NFL Network know him really well. They know him because they were colleagues of his, and just to see him off camera, listen to him talk for like a half hour, I came away saying, oh, I could totally see how this can work there. I mean, you guys probably remember this, but I think most people don't. That program was horrible before he took it. It wasn't just like they were bad. They weren't like 4-8. They were like one win and getting blown out of almost every other game. So to see what they became after 1 year where they were competitive and won some games, and then year two, you win 9 games and you get in the top 25. I mean, that's a pretty rare jump that what he was able to do. And so I think for a lot of people who are very cynical and critical of him and what he was doing and skeptical, I just don't think that they're in his orbit in terms of like I don't know. I think he's different, and I think for a lot of people, they don't know what to make a difference, so they scoff at it.
Quarterback situation, obviously Caden Salter, Julian Lewis. Just what are you hearing? How do you think that works out? Who starts Georgia Tech?
I'm interested to see how it goes. I mean, obviously Caden has a lot of experience, and he's a good running quarterback. I would think you would go with experience. Julian Lewis is so young. I mean, he's probably not even 18 yet, right? Because he left a year early. I'm interested to see how it plays out. It's interesting that they brought both. They're bringing both of them here. So, I'd be surprised if the receiver core was anywhere near as good as what it's been, just because you don't just lose Travis, but you lose Jimmy Horn Jr., you lost Western. I mean, that's a lot of firepower. So, maybe having a running quarterback is a run-first kind of threat is an interesting way to go for them in the transition.
I think the idea, is kind of accepted that maybe the median talent on this team is higher than it's been since Coach Prime got there, but you lack, stars like Travis and Shedeur. If you were a coach, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the superstar power and, maybe less depth and skill on the rest of the roster, or the more well-rounded roster?
If you could keep the superstar power healthy, I would take that, because I just thought you had guys. We're at the Utah game, and I remember being on the field in the first, I think they start off and it's like a turnover right out of the gate. Yep. And you're like, okay, this could be interesting, because Utah's, even if they're playing their 4-string quarterback, but then you watch the, Travis Hunter wow plays, and you just see how the rest of the team reacts when you have such a difference maker. And I feel like he's like the fuse that lights everything off. And it was just a really unique atmosphere to be there and be on the sideline for that and see the energy of that. And I think a lot of that comes from that star power. So, but, obviously it worked out really well. I mean, I know they wanted to finish the year with 10 wins and everything, but considering where they were 2 years earlier, it's really remarkable.
All right, Bruce Feldman, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Nice seeing you.
We're here with Fox. Hawks play-by-play and former Michigan quarterback.
No,
Devin Gardner.
analyst. Yeah, Tim is play-by-play.
Oh, my bad.
That's it.
I know. Got to clarify the titles for the booth.
Of course.
Obviously, Colorado. I mean, a lot of transition this year. No Shedeur, no Travis. Just what do you think the outlook is for this team as they kind of move into a new era?
I think it's excitement. I think that Coach Sanders has done a very nice job of showing what he's capable of as a coach. Now, a lot of people are questioning maybe can he do it without his son and obviously Travis Hunter, and that remains to be seen. But he's got two options at quarterback, one with experience, one with not a lot of experience but a lot of talent. Who they have an option, and I think the one thing for Colorado is they have to continue to find a way to be dominant on the offensive and defensive line. If they can figure that out, the skillful players, you're going to go play for Deion, but they got to find a way to get those interior guys all settled in, and if they do that, I think the sky's the limit.
You had a tweet recently talking about the Big 12 quarterbacks being a little slept on nationally.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why do you think that is, and who are some of your favorite guys in this conference that you think are in for a big 2025?
Well, I think the reason for that is the conference itself is slept on, right? So if you're sleeping on the conference, you obviously don't need to ever get to the quarterback since you're not even going to enter the conference, right? So I've gotten a chance to do a lot of Big 12 games. You know, a lot of people think I do all Big 10 games, but I actually do more Big 12 games over the last couple of years, and just seeing the quality of football and the ability for each team to compete, and it doesn't matter when the game is and who's playing who. It's always a chance that one team could win or the other team can win, right? It's not like that in most conferences. But watching the quarterback play, firstly, a lot of guys have played a lot of ball, right? And aside from that, right, they got a chance to make those early mistakes because they got to play young, right? When you play young, it's kind of a double-edged sword where you could lose your confidence, but you could also get a lot of experience, and I think that this conference has those quarterbacks that have done that. And one of the quarterbacks I think that nobody knows about as much is Sawyer Robertson and Devin Dampier. Right now, Devin Dampier is not homegrown in the conference, right, obviously, but I had his Week 0 game a year ago, and that's how I found out about him. Outstanding player, and the fact that he's here after joining the team shows a lot, because a lot of times you get a transfer quarterback, you don't bring them to media day because it's like, I want to at least maybe send a message, or I want to find a way for him to prove that he's a leader, and he's done that already because he's here at media day. His talent is unquestionable, and I can't wait to see him play against better competition and show what he has. And then Sawyer Robertson, big, strong, can run, can throw, right? And when you have that at quarterback, and they'll have talent around them, I think you can be a special player. And the names that everybody knows, Rocco Beck and Levitt, all those guys, obviously. But those two guys, I think, are two that people really don't know about as much, and I think they have a real good shot.
Kind of speaking about that, Jake and I are both big Devin Dampier fans. He's from
Mexico. He has a great name.
So
it's not exactly spelled properly, I would say.
Yes.
However, we say it like it's supposed to be said.
He passes the name test for sure, and he can ball for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I thought it was very, important what you mentioned. Like, he obviously transferred this offseason, but he's here at media day, so clearly he proves to be a leader of the team. Kind of similar to Colorado, right? They have two quarterbacks here. One who transferred this offseason from Liberty, I'm sure you're familiar with Caden Salter, a true freshman already here. Both quarterbacks. I think you can kind of say the same thing, that they've quickly kind of shown that they're become a cohesive part of this team. What do you kind of make of the new kind of quarterbacks and this new era of Colorado football with those two guys potentially leading the charge?
It's really impressive to see them both here, and obviously they've competed enough, and it says a lot about the young guy, right? Because Salter is a person that has played a lot of football and has played well. So the fact that you're even in the mix to even be brought here as a question mark of who's going to be the quarterback, maybe they do know who the quarterback is already, but the fact that you pushed it enough that you want to keep it a secret a little bit, I think that's impressive. And he's always been a guy that's been able to play. Coming out of Atlanta, I mean, he's a person from Carrollton that played young, played with really good players young, and led those guys, and then he got older, and the process kind of continued. It's really impressive to see at this level that he's able now. We haven't seen him get tackled yet, which I'm a stickler for guys who haven't been tackled at this level. It's a little different than being tackled by college kids who have like the homework to go do, the algebra 2 and what have you. But the fact that he's been able to show things through the spring and the summer workouts and the winter workouts, because I remember as a young player going into college and Denard Robinson and Tate Forcier being at University of Michigan, the summer and the winter was terrible for me. Right, the workouts, the waking up, the class, all these different things. So I couldn't even really focus on football as much as I wanted to because my head was spinning. So the fact that he's been able to focus on football, get everything done, and has been invited here is really impressive.
Going back to Caden Salter and honestly kind of Devin Dampier too, just these athletic quarterbacks, especially with CU, you really struggled to run the football the last 2 seasons under Coach Prime. You get a rebuilt offensive line, but what Caden brings with that running game, just you as an athletic quarterback yourself too, how does that change an offense?
Yeah, for Colorado, firstly, the running game will be better. Why? Because you have to worry about the quarterback and his ability to break the game. No defensive coordinator wants to give up yards to the quarterback running. They just don't, especially if it's not Lamar Jackson, right? And so he's not Lamar Jackson, but he's a really good runner, right? And so when he breaks off for a 5 or 6 yard gain on first down, now you got issues, right? Because we can't allow the quarterback to hit big plays like that. And don't even talk about how he goes 15, 16, 17 yards down the field. I think that opens up a lot, and the rush lanes are different for the defensive lineman, right? They can't just freely rush because he may get out and run. And like I talked about, you cannot allow a quarterback to break the game as a runner. And so I think that's going to help the offensive line in the run game and having that extra person, right? So you go quarterback run, you have an extra blocker, right? In the running back or whoever it is. And when you don't have to block that backside defensive end on a read option, different things like that, which they couldn't do a year ago because the nature of their quarterback, obviously, great quarterback, but he doesn't add that dimension to help the offensive line. And I think Salter will do that.
I'm curious your thoughts on kind of coming up a level, right? Obviously, Devin Dampier's kind of doing it.
Yeah.
Caden Salter's doing it. A lot of people think, they want to see it before they really believe it. What are your thoughts on kind of making that jump from FCS or D1AA to FBS football?
It's very fickle just because you don't know. And I think a lot of it has to do with what team you're going to and the players around you. Yeah. Because you've seen a lot of quarterbacks come from that lower level and they perform well, but you've seen some come and it's just like, it's overwhelming. Right. It's too much. And I don't think that will be the case for Devin Dampier. The way he was able to handle what he was able to do, winning the job first where he was, and being the guy who doesn't have all the great players around him, but still finding a way to navigate and do things the right way and improve. I was really impressed because after that first week 0 game, obviously I didn't have him anymore, but I continued to follow to watch how he was doing, and his name is great. Yeah. Can't forget his name, but his name is great, but his game is tight. Another runner thrower that I think can present real issues for defense. No doubt.
Just the Big 12 in general. I mean, ASU is getting a lot of hype right now. I mean, voted last year, so the parity is there in this conference. Just when you look at it, how do you think it shakes out? What do you think Colorado's chances are at making a run?
So I want to wait and see on Colorado just because you want to see what the quarterback situation is, because if Salter doesn't win the job, right, now you don't get that element of that running quarterback that can kind of help the offensive line come along in the running game. So you want to find out and see, and also defensively, what are they going to be? But the top is going to be the top, like it always is. I think that Iowa State has continued to show, having their best season last year, I think ever. They were very impressive. It's like a slow bleed when you play them. It's like they just keep doing things right, and it seems like you're doing well, but they just keep not flinching. And then by the end of the game, it's like, oh, here they are again, winning the football game. Their quarterback Rocco Beck has done a really nice job. He's improved very well. I've been calling his game since he was a redshirt freshman, and now he's a grown-up, right? Yeah. And he's proved that he can handle the pressure because they got a backup quarterback that's really good, a young guy who's got real talent, and he continues to kind of fend them off, and that's impressive to watch. Arizona State, obviously, you got a quarterback that's dynamic, you got a chance. Now, Scatterboo's not there anymore. Right. However, I think it's going to give a lot of opportunity to the quarterback to add his legs into the situation. I think that's going to really help them too.
Love it. Commissioner Yormark said today that he expects multiple.
He stole a lot of my notes, I feel like. I sent my tweet out yesterday, and then he says, like, he got 9 quarterbacks in 24 years. I said, wait, I didn't know that. I'm a genius. Am I a genius?
He's reading your timeline.
My name's Devin, though, so it's all good. Could you get off my timeline, Mr. Commissioner? But when he said that stuff, I'm like, that's what the tape says. I don't know. I didn't know about the numbers, but the tape says those 9 quarterbacks are talented, and for the rest of the power conferences to only have 11, that's crazy, right? So he was right on that, of course. Got it from my time. You got one more?
I'm good. Devin Gardner.
Appreciate you.
Oh wait, I got one last. You got one more.
Okay, I got you. Yeah.
If you could play for any current Big 12 head coach right now, go back in time, who would it be?
I don't know, man. I'm partial to Coach Campbell, man.
Okay.
What he's able to do with not just from this past year or the years that I've been calling him.
Yeah.
I mean, back to Toledo, like, he has been the guy, and I don't think people give him the respect that he deserves with the ability to not get the very best player all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But when he gets a player, they had 2 receivers drafted last year. Let's just
2 dogs,
2 monsters,
2
right?
dogs.
And so when you see stuff like that, it's just like, okay, he's really developing, and that's what I would be looking for if I was coming up. Obviously, you like some NIL too now, but if I'm coming up, I want to be developed and have an opportunity to go play at the next level. And apparently, he's doing it over there.
That Colorado-Iowa State game this year is going to be got a lot of.
Hopefully, I get it. I hope I get it. That'd be great. That'd be
Hope
great.
to see you out there, man.
Of course, man. Appreciate you.
Devin
Devin Gardner. Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate you, man.